because I scored pretty good in there. However, I discovered something after the fact that is most unfortunate. But we'll get there. I know I've been teasing it for a little bit, but we'll talk about it today. Next up is Simple Pawn, or La Familia, I guess. See if they've got anything after 4 weeks. Let's go. So that was interesting. I didn't have time to film much footage because there was literally nobody in there, so they just kind of immediately helped. I checked the case. They had some overpriced Switch and a bunch of games that are just not worth anything or not worth adding to the collection. But then I saw on the counter, they had bundles of games that were marked at basically $1 a piece. And I went through the bundles. Most of them were the garbage that they just cannot get rid of. So, and I mean, even then, these bundles have a few games like that. But $1 a piece, it's probably worth grabbing them just because typically there's at least one game that's worth at least that, if not more. So I got 2 of them. Here's the Wii bundle. It's got Luxor 3, Nancy Drew, The White Wolf of Icicle Creek, and Wii Fit Plus. Wii Fit Plus is obviously completely useless. But I didn't have Luxor 3 or the Nancy Drew game, so I figured I'd pick those up. For $1, I mean, you can't really go wrong. And then it's funny. The last time I was there, I actually brought up this Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker game. And I think they wanted like $5-6 for it. Well, now I found it in this bundle. And what's funny is it also comes with Destiny 2, which is completely useless. Also has Madden 07, which, if you don't know, I actually need a copy of Madden 07 to complete my Madden 07 Collector's Edition. And then also has Just Dance 2024, which I'm pretty sure I could trade into GameStop. So I paid $7 total for 7 games. We'll see if they end up being worth it. I'm going to try to trade in as much of it as I can, and I'll keep the ones that I don't have and that I'm actually interested in. So we'll see. But yeah, on to our next pawn shop. All comes down to this. We got a bag full of games. What will they be worth? Let's find out. So as expected, at the end of everything, my camera died while I was in GameStop. I really wish it didn't, because I scored pretty good in there. However, I discovered something after the fact that is most unfortunate. But we'll get there. I know I've been teasing it for a little bit, but we'll talk about it today. So let's start off with Simple Pawn. I didn't pick up much there. I just picked up 2 bundles of... They had a bunch of games they were just trying to get rid of for basically $1 a piece. And it was mostly garbage that nobody wants, and there's a reason why they were $1 a piece. But each bundle had at least 1 or 2 games that were worth grabbing. So I figured, I'll pay $1 a piece. Of course, I did get some undesirables that are not the most exciting thing, but you know, it is what it is. So we'll start off with Destiny 2 on the Xbox One, because it's Destiny 2. It's a free-to-play game. This is basically worthless. Paid $1, it is worth $4 in complete form, but I don't know who's gonna be paying $4 for a disc of Destiny 2. Then we have Wii Fit Plus on the Wii. I tried to trade this in. GameStop won't take it. Not surprised. Nobody wants Wii Fit, but I have a copy of Wii Fit Plus now on the Wii, so sure, I guess. I paid $1. It is worth $7 apparently, so there's that. Now, this one is unfortunate. So I have the special edition, and I also just realized it was a Madden 09 that I need, not Madden 07, so this would have been useless anyway. It doesn't even have Madden 07 in it. It actually has NBA Live 06 in it. I discovered that after when I opened up all the games. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Doesn't really matter. It's an old garbage sports game. Paid $1 for NBA Live 06. It is worth $4, loose condition. And then here's the other big discovery. When I opened up the bundles, I mean, it was only like a couple games that were worth getting. Like, I did trade in 2 of them in the GameStop pile. They weren't worth a ton, but they were worth more than the $1 I paid together. But these 2 are the 2 I'm actually keeping, or like legitimately keeping. This one surprised me. Luxor 3 on the Wii. But I don't know if you notice, it's sealed. This is a brand new sealed copy of Luxor 3 on the Wii. I don't have a sealed Wii game. Now I do. I mostly got this because I figure, well, it's a puzzle game. It's probably fun. For $1, it's worth it. But now I have it sealed, and it's an immaculate seal too. So, yes, I'm pretty happy to pick this up for $1. Paid $1, it's worth $8, brand new sealed. So, even in new sealed condition, it's not exactly worth a lot, but whatever. And then this one's just funny because I think they originally wanted like $8 or $9 for this, and I refused to buy it, and then I ended up buying it for $1. Cool. Naruto Boruto Shinobi Striker on the Xbox. This is a soccer game, but with characters from Naruto, which is interesting. I think it's a soccer game. I might be thinking of Captain Tsubasa. It looks like it's an online fighting game, but you know, I wanted to pick this up, and I got it for $1. So can't complain there. Paid $1, it's worth $7 in complete form. So I got 2 decent games. I mean, when you look at it too, Luxor was worth $8. I paid $7 for the whole lot. So, and then Naruto was worth $7. So I essentially got at least double what I paid for that lot. So it was still worth grabbing, even though I got to keep a couple garbage games, and then I made a tiny bit of change on the games I traded in. Speaking of trade-ins, let's talk about that. So I discovered after the fact, because GameStop was busy, and so my trade got handed off to, I believe it's the assistant manager. She's really cool. I've seen her before a few times. However, there were some mistakes made, and it cost me quite a bit of credit. The first one, and this one's unfortunate, but also, I guess, not the worst thing to happen. They forgot a game, because I put the loose chip for Octopath Traveler in the bag, and they didn't see it. So this was not traded in, so I still have my second copy of Octopath Traveler, which I will be trading in at some point. So that won't be included on the value for the trade-in because I didn't trade it in. It's still worth like $16, so it's a good trade-in, and it's going to get traded in. Just it hasn't been yet, so I'll have to figure out when I want to do that trade-in. But when I do, hey, I'll have an instant like $16. So here is my massive GameStop receipts. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff traded in, a lot of stuff purchased as well. I ended up getting $163.47 in trade-in, which is pretty darn good. Should have been more though. Here's why. First off, God of War. So if you remember at Cash America, I opened up the God of War collection case, and it wasn't the God of War collection, it was the God of War saga, which included God of War 1, 2, and 3. That trades into GameStop for $9 base. So with the bonuses, it should have been around $11. They took it as the God of War collection, which is what the case was, and I only got $7.80. So I lost a few bucks on that one, about $3. Again, it's not the end of the world. It's just a little annoying that I lost some credit. And then the one that I probably lost the most on was Black Ops. So I picked up a copy of Black Ops and a copy of Black Ops 2 at AZ Thrift. Paid $5 for each of them, which is not a great price for those. Individually, they don't trade in for a whole lot. But together as a double pack, they trade in for about $9. And you can get, with the bonuses, I think I could get like 10 or 11. So I would get a little bit more than what I paid, not much. They took them as their individual games. So I ended up getting 32 cents for Black Ops and $2.60 for Black Ops 2. So I made less in trading credit than I paid for one of those games, and I paid $5 each for both of them. So that ended up being a colossal bust. So, I mean, when you calculate it up, I technically lost about, I lost like $10 in trading credit. Plus, you include the game that they didn't even take because they didn't find it. So I could have had an extra like $26 in trading credit, which would have been nice. But again, I'm not going to beat them up too much about it. It was a simple mistake. The big thing that was nice was like some of the discs were in kind of rough shape. They just took them all. They didn't charge any refurb fees. They didn't do anything. I've noticed some GameStops have been doing that with retro especially. Like, unless it's like scratched to the point where it's definitely not going to play, they won't charge a refurb fee on it for retro, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I ended up getting $163 in credit and 47 cents. Which is pretty good. So what did I get with that credit? Well, I scoured my GameStop. I wish I still had the footage, but again, my camera died, so I don't. But the big thing that I was looking for is GameStop is currently running a buy two get one free deal on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 games. So I figured I might as well make the most of my credit by picking up a trio of Xbox One or PS4 games, or maybe a couple trios of Xbox One and PS4 games that I can get for free. So I did that. And I did pretty well. I also scoured the retro section. I only picked up a couple retro games. And then I picked up a Switch game and a new game that was on sale. Which, in order to make the most of your GameStop trading credit right now, you want to always pick up a new game, even if it's a GameStop new game, because it gives you a 20% extra bonus. So if you have a large trade that you're going to be doing, I would strongly recommend finding, even if it's like a $20 new game, just grab a new game. It's going to bump up your credit. You'll probably end up getting it for free. So, yes. I forgot to mention, I did calculate how much I paid for the trade-ins, and I paid $91 total. So, I still did well. I got like $70 extra in trade-in. That's really good. Could have been better if they didn't mess up, but it's still pretty good. And I still got an extra like $16 in trade-in over there. So, again, I know it sounds like I'm just complaining. I am, because it would have been nice to get the full amount that I should have gotten. It's not the end of the world. I'm gonna be okay. Let's go over purchases. So we'll start off with the Xbox One trio. I ended up picking up a trio of games that were $9.99 credit, and then a trio of games that were $14.99 credit. Everything was credit, by the way, except I think I owed $2 out of pocket, which I wouldn't have if they took everything correctly, but whatever, it's fine. And then I bought a Red Bull at the end, so I'm not counting that, but you can buy Red Bulls at GameStop now, which is interesting. So yeah, everything was credit except I paid $2 out of pocket, which I put that on the last game. So there we go. But anyway, we start off with Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series on the Xbox One. I believe I have a digital copy of this, but I didn't have a physical one, so I figured, you know what, might as well pick it up. It was $10, and that was the price I needed to do this bundle. I paid credit, and this one is worth $11. So a good start to our little adventure. Then we have Rad Rogers on the Xbox One. This is a like 90s era 2D action game, but it's kind of on the raunchy side. I've heard good things about it. It came out on everything back in the day. It's a THQ Nordic game, so it's probably good, like, you know, AA style game, but it was $10 in credit. So, and it worked for my bundle, so I figured I'd pick it up. Paid $10, and this one is worth $8. Or sorry, I didn't pay $10. I paid credit, and this one's worth $8. So, again, I know I've mentioned this a few times with GameStop videos. When you're paying credit, I don't consider it a loss because it's fun money, basically. And then my freebie was Grid on the Xbox One. Grid was originally a game on the Xbox 360. They made a new one on the Xbox One, and I haven't played the new one. I really liked the original Grid, so I figured I'd pick up the new one. I mean, it's not that new. I think it came out in 2019, so it's not brand new or anything. But hey, I think it's one of Codemaster's last games before they were bought out by EA, and now they make F1 games. Anyway, this was free, and it is worth $19. So this was a really good one for free. PS4, I went a little out there. Again, I always like scouring the PS4 or an Xbox One, but especially PS4 because that's where you tend to find the weird stuff. And I tried to find games you don't normally find out there in the wild. And I picked three that I think were good on that front. First, we have Sudden Strike 4 on the PS4. It is another RTS. I'm starting to build a pretty good collection of PlayStation RTS games. But this was another one. It was 15 in trading credit. It was technically less than that because, again, with GameStop, if you're a pro member, you get a discount on top of that for pre-owned games. So I paid credit for this. It is worth 14 bucks. Then this game, I'm like, considering what my job is, I feel like I had to do it. So I did it. Railway Empire on the PS4. Doesn't include all the extras, it's just the manual. It's supposed to include a poster and a digital soundtrack. It doesn't have that though. But if you don't know, I work at a company who specializes in rail vacations, so I figured, well, a rail simulator type game makes sense. I actually almost bought one a couple weeks ago, but now I have this one, so there you go. Paid 15 bucks for Railway Empire, and it is worth 16. So, paid credit, worth 16 bucks, not bad. And then this one, it's based on an anime. I've never seen the anime, but it was a unique game, looks interesting, and it is in the price range that I want, so I got it for free. Black Clover Quarter Nights on the PS4. Figured it was worth pickup. I paid nothing because it was free. It was worth 15 bucks. So yeah, those were the Boat 2 Get ones, and then the rest of my budget went towards these next 4 games, and I think I did pretty well there. First, we have Looney Tunes back in action on the PS2. Yes, someone drew a couple mustaches on Bugs and Daffy there. Probably gonna try to fix that, although this case is just kind of scudsy. But yeah, it's a PS2 Looney Tunes game. I figured it was worth a pickup. The movie has pretty good reputation, so, you know, might as well grab it, especially because, again, you don't see a ton of, like, really good quality PS2 games that often at GameStop. They had more that I could have grabbed, but this was the one that was, like, it was cheap, and I might as well grab it. Paid credit, and this one is worth 14. So not bad there. This was a game that I had almost picked up a few times, and I actually do own this game already, but it is a digital copy, and it is on Xbox. Now I have a copy on Switch in physical form, and I honestly feel Switch might be the perfect platform to play this game on. Yeah, so I think it's a good pickup. We have Coffee Talk on the Switch. It's a Serenity Forge release, so it's a limited, kind of difficult to pick up game. I played this a bit on Xbox One. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. It's a very chill, kind of relaxed game where you mostly just you make coffee recipes and then you talk to people. So it's kind of like a visual novel. It's a good game. So I figured I'd grab it on GameStop for credit because it's an uncommon physical game. So I paid credit for Coffee Talk. It is worth $40. See what I mean? And yes, check the retro. Also, the retro section they had to redo apparently because corporate wanted games of a certain platform to all be together. So because of that, they moved, like, PlayStation was with PlayStation, Xbox was with Xbox, and then Nintendo was with Nintendo. I went to check Nintendo. They had a good chunk of Wii games, but they also had a few GameCube games. Most of them I didn't think were worth grabbing. This one, though, is a pretty uncommon game, and even in loose condition, I still did pretty well. We have Tom and Jerry War of the Whisker on the GameCube. This is a Tom and Jerry action game. Came out on the GameCube. I think it also came out on the PS2, but it's worth a lot more on the GameCube because it's the GameCube. Yeah. And I picked it up. Even in loose condition, this is still a pretty solid add to the GameCube collection. I paid credit, and this is worth 25 bucks. So again, and that's in loose condition too. And then the new game that I picked up, I have, I think, all the other ones. I might be missing one. I don't really know. I have to go through it, I guess, and figure it out. I think I might be missing the second one physically. But either way, I have most of them. And I did like the first game. I figured I might as well play this one. We have Life is Strange Double Exposure on the Xbox Series X. It's a continuation of the first game. Figured I'd try it. It was on sale for $35. I only paid $2 because of all my credit and stuff. So I paid $2 out of pocket for this. And this is worth $45 in GameStop new condition. Greetings from many months later. Somehow I forgot a game that I picked up from GameStop, so I wanted to, of course, mention it because it's weird to not. I picked up Hellboy and the Science of Evil on the Xbox 360. It did not have the manual, it was just boxed. So I had the cover art, but it did not have the manual. Picked that up with store credit at GameStop, and it is worth $16. So just wanted to mention that. Not sure why I didn't, but there you go. That's it. So that is the end of this pretty epic game hunt. We got a lot of stuff. If you include all 3 episodes, I added, I don't even know how many games to the collection. I'm actually starting to worry about space because several of my collections, I'm essentially out of space. My Switch collection, I'm out of space. My PS collection, I'm pretty much out of space. The retro stuff is starting to get a little low. Xbox One/Series X, I have a little more leeway, which is good. But yeah, there's a number of collections that are starting to get pretty low on space, and I just added a whole bunch of games to the collection. So I'm probably gonna have to get some new shelves soon. But yeah, I mean, can't complain for what I got, and for the most part, pretty solid titles to add to the collection. So can't complain. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Bargain Game Hunter. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell. That way you know when new videos drop. Next week is going to be a pickups video, but it's got some pretty cool stuff, including a continuation of one of the games. Well, not a game necessarily. One of the items I picked up on one of my hunts this week. The story is going to continue on it on the next episode, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Ha ha ha!